All right. Welcome back. Nobody Named Kevin, podcast 8, I believe.
Yep.
First things first. Anyone around the table named Kevin?
Nope.
Hell no.
Glad to hear it.
All right. What do we got to start with?
Okay. I thought about this today for some reason, and I think we should have a healthy discussion about this.
Mm-hmm.
What was the best video game controller of all time? I'm going to throw my gauntlet down, starting off, Gamecube.
Gamecube.
Gamecube controller, while it was wacky and looks like it's supposed to be connected to a McDonald's machine, which it was at one point, okay, it was perfectly designed. The buttons, the way they were laid out, worked perfectly with the games. They had different functions, different textures, different shapes. So it was like you knew where to go because how everything was shaped. And it had different functions. Like if you had a Budokai game, you did both joysticks did the beam struggle. So also, it is still the controller used in Smash tournaments. That is the best designed video game controller of all time.
It was also designed for Smash, though, originally, wasn't it? Like, I mean, that's
so designed for a top tier game.
My thing is,
I don't know.
I disagree. To me, I like I'm trying to think of what I think is the best PlayStation controller, because like for me, I've always loved PlayStation because like the thing with Xbox for me is like while everything else felt great, the D-pad that was there always kind of felt out of place to me. It felt clunky to reach and touch that. So like I didn't like that. So that's why I think PlayStation's superior to it. Now, if we're going PlayStation controllers, I'd probably say a PS3 controller was better. Because at like PS4 and stuff like that, you started getting controllers that didn't last. They were just such poor quality that they didn't survive. Like I went through like 4 controllers.
Yeah, but the PlayStation has been the same controller for like 35 years now.
If it ain't
like,
don't fix
it. They cannot innovate on top of it. Like they make the triggers a little bit heavier. Okay, cool. Okay. We added lights on the back to give people seizures if they watch you play. I don't understand.
All that can be turned off. That's the thing.
If you were going to argue the most innovative controller, it would just be the Switch.
No,
it's just the console is the controller.
That's the same thing as saying like the DS. It's built to the console. No.
But you can pull it away. You can go 2 ways.
You can.
I mean,
is that innovative though? The GameCube was pretty innovative in its design and in its function. Which came after, well after, and they can't recreate that success. They cannot top their own thing. PlayStation plays it safe. Like, let's just make the new controller the same every year. Okay, honestly, that's fine.
I love the PS4 remote, honestly. I think it feels great.
My only problem...
Very simple. It's very simple. It's not hard to understand. It doesn't freak anyone out.
God, dude.
I'm a simple guy.
No, see, like, for me...
I really want to hold the PS5.
My only problem...
Hey, do you have any PlayStation controller? It's the same.
Is it?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, we added a curve to it. Okay.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. When you hit perfection, there's no reason to go past that.
Yeah.
I've heard people are saying like there's something, I don't know what it is, some sort of thing and some feature in the PS5 remote that makes it great, but I don't know what it is. But same thing with Xbox remotes. The triggers. Oh, that's what it is, the reaction to it or something.
It's always a trigger.
I mean, so like here's my thing though, like PlayStation 4, my problem with that controller is that it just broke too easy. That was my only issue.
I've never had mine break. I had the same one.
See, like I also played a whole hell of a lot more than you, so I may have more time on that on each of my controllers. But the same problem I would run into is the battery would go out on it. So like you couldn't charge the battery anymore. You could only play if it was plugged directly into power.
One controller I never got to use, but I always wanted to try was the Xbox Elite. I think it was like for the original Xbox One or something, the one that like a lot of PC players use. It looks like real fancy. I think it's like
because
70 or 80 bucks.
Because keyboard also sucks. But the battery never died on a GameCube controller. The battery never died on a GameCube controller, okay?
Yeah, the battery doesn't die on a keyboard.
Okay. What's so great about a keyboard, though? Like, PC,
okay.
Like, what's so cool about a PC?
Okay, let's not go down this rabbit hole in which you know you're wrong.
No, Les. I don't understand.
Wait,
like,
okay,
why is
cool.
PC great?
Let's go down the rabbit hole of like, okay, video games that are built for consoles have to be limited because, you can't press the 7 buttons together because it's weird and janky. Like, if I play a game like Squad, I'm using almost all of my keys. They all have a purpose, and I know what that purpose is. There's a reason why Squad can't be put on there, and it's because consoles.
There's a reason no one wants it. There's a whole alphabet. I don't want to play with the whole alphabet.
It's more just the access of being able to use the buttons and not have to press it in weird combinations, dude.
PC, okay. But PC is like, okay.
Better optimization, better graphics.
PC was cool like 15 to 20 years ago when it was like unheard of that.
Okay. All right.
Hold on.
No, I'm done with this because you're just trying to upset me. This is all you're trying to do.
Yeah.
PC was cool 15 to 20 years ago when it was like unheard of to have a gaming PC. Now everyone has a gaming PC.
Because why?
And it's been ruined. It's been tainted.
Okay. Why does everyone have a gaming PC? Because it's better.
Let me explain.
There you go. It's better.
Because it's been ruined. Because now when I see gaming PC, I think Reddit. And when I think Reddit, I think Soy Boy. And when I think Soy Boy, I think Cuck. So if you build a gaming PC, you're building a $3,000 Cuck machine. It's not cool anymore. It's like it's a cope. It's like the old guy getting a Ferrari or a Corvette.
Okay, hold on.
They ruined it.
Hold on.
They ruined it.
I'm not going to take opinions from someone when it comes to computers who uses an Apple computer, okay?
Because I don't need to cope. I also don't have a PC.
Because I don't need a good computer. Gotcha.
I don't need to cope.
I don't see how it's
PC's a cope.
Exactly. How is it a cope? I don't understand.
It's
because they always say PC Master Race. They always say PC Master Race. It's never been a Master Race for the past 15 years because everyone has one now or can get one, and it's so easy to make. And then they're like, I can upgrade it whenever I want. You can't. How is that new graphics card coming that no one can get a hold of because Bitcoin popped off? You can't. You're stuck.
Okay.
You're stuck.
Hold on. Let's bring it back real quick. When you were playing on PlayStation and we were playing Warzone together, what frames were you at? Oh, you were hard capped at 60, huh? I was running 180 to 160. My game was smooth and beautiful. And
that changed the whole experience.
And let's also point out, I was on keyboard and mouse and destroyed you every match. Every time I play with you, Clayton, man, I'm just not having a good time going negative every game.
Right, so the PC makes it easier. It copes. It helps you cope with the fact that you don't have console skill.
Console skill.
Okay, let's go back to console skill then. Do you remember in high school when we all played Modern Warfare and I had a 99-game win streak and only lost one time?
Yes. Back then you weren't coping. You were console skilled up. You fell for the Reddit trap.
The Reddit trap.
I'm done with this conversation. I'm done with this.
You miss the controller. You miss the controller.
I honestly don't.
I don't need
my thing
the
is
alphabet
I had a PC
and 10 numbers.
Like,
yeah.
If you were to argue like where console stands out versus PC, if you brought up driving games, I would agree with you. Like, driving is just so much more fluid on actual controllers, but in every other aspect, a keyboard is better to me.
Okay, here's another thing. With PCs. Every PC player. I have 80 games I'm never going to open. When a console player gets a game, they play the game.
Okay,
there's all these Steam summer sales that they never touch. They're like, I'll never touch. Like 80 games they'll never open. They just sit on their hard drive. That's cool.
No,
I know someone who still has an unopened Valhalla just sitting there, and that came out almost a year ago.
Yeah,
one. Okay. Out of how many?
That's an argument.
How many unopened games?
No, hold on. That's an argument against people, not PC.
It's the archetype of the PC.
No, we're not arguing archetype. We're arguing which is better.
Yeah.
So now you're
those
changing
type of people
it.
run it.
So now you're
No, those
changing
people
it.
run it.
No. So now you're changing it from, okay, we have a console. What's the best controller? Okay, we do that. And I'm like, yeah, but I still think keyboard and mouse is better. And now you're like, no, because the people who use keyboard and mouse are bad.
No, we diverted different things. I'm just saying, me saying that, it leads to that. No, GameCube's still the best, and PC is a code. Yeah, it's a code machine.
Okay, and when was the last time you had a desktop computer?
Oh, probably like
years ago.
Gosh, probably like
years ago, because
right.
all you
I
do
grew up.
is use a trashy laptop.
Is it trash? It
Yeah,
gets everything I need to get done.
Just because it has a fucking bitten apple on it doesn't mean that it's good.
Hey, I like my bitten Apple products.
Oh yeah?
Thank
Then
you.
why did you build a
Everyone
PC?
does.
I
How
haven't
old were
in a
you when you
while.
did that? Oh, yeah, how old were you when you did that, Q?
18.
I remember you grew up.
Hey, I've thought about doing it again. I'm not gonna lie. Not even gonna sit here and act like I definitely have thought. Mean, dude,
It's better.
I had a lot of fun with that.
It's just better.
You can do so much. Not even just gaming. Like, I don't know the amount of time I would spend on it, but I'm sure I could do it because a lot of it's just browsing. But having
And
the
I would say
multiple
the
screens
same.
is just
I
extremely
would-
lazy browsing and having all these different tabs and like watching TV while playing a game and having like a song over here. I'm like, this is unnecessary consumption of media. But for some reason I did it. But yeah.
A concert player would never do that. They understand it's time to play the game. They get the job done, turn it off when it's time. And also, a console is more wholesome. It's more wholesome. It goes in the living room. People come over, they can play with you. You come over, people don't look at you like you're weird. They're like, oh, maybe he has friends over. Maybe he plays with his girlfriend. Maybe he's got kids. The PC, it's like, yeah, that's our son who never comes out to see anyone.
So, side
I have to
argument
disagree
that.
there.
Families are
The console's more wholesome.
Let's be honest here. Families suck and they're annoying. So I don't
I
care.
love
If
my
wait.
family's fun.
No.
My family's
Nope.
fun.
You're wrong. Nope. You only think they're fun because you were forced to hang out with them. You didn't get a choice.
Okay, this argument's taking a turn.
Yes, it has.
You got some demons you need to address there, Clayton.
Oh, they don't need addressing. I just treat people as people. I don't care if you're related to me. If you're a shitty person, you're a shitty person. That's how I feel about things. It doesn't matter if we share the same DNA. Like, okay, cool.
I mean, I don't disagree with that statement, but I'm like,
Wait,
Yeah,
I mean,
families suck.
I'm
Okay?
my family. I don't know what you're talking about.
where is this coming from?
I think you're just scared to put them on blast. All right.
Dude, I have fun. Dude, I have fun with my family.
I thought we were talking about.
I kind of don't want to address
to have a
these
PC
demons.
or a console.
It is more. Yeah, he's like, my family sucks.
Okay, no, because he brought in the like, oh, your family comes over and they hate you. Okay, who cares?
Didn't say that. You said that.
Dude, nah. PC.
My family
is the
doesn't
way to
hate
go.
me.
So you think. They haven't told you yet.
No. The day I get a PC, and they're like, okay, he was already reclusive enough. It's the icing on the cake. The console's wholesome. We play Mortal Kombat together. We play Mario Kart together. We play. There's other games. Oh, Fall Guys. We played Fall Guys together on the Switch or PlayStation. It was on, I think.
That's right. I forgot that if you own a PC, you're not allowed to own other consoles. I forgot about that rule.
Well, I was going to say you
Usually
can
they
just play
don't.
2-player on the console.
That's
on
not,
the PC.
That's not true at all. I know plenty of people who have PCs and also have gaming consoles.
For the exclusives that they know they'll never get, and because they need to appear normal. They need to fit into society and look wholesome.
Hey, okay, so you do have a good point about the one point about the like, hey, anyone can hop on, because Selena's brother came over and like I have my Xbox and then my PS4 sitting there and he's like, oh dude, let's play some games. And I was like, oh, I only have like one controller. And then he was like, well, let's play on the Xbox. And I was like, I don't have any. I sold all my games and I canceled my Game Pass. I was like, it's just there. But he was like, in his head, he's like, oh, this guy, let's play games. Like, we can play together.
Yeah, that's another.
We can bond.
Yeah, that's another thing too. You have to spend consistent money constantly to get anything worthwhile on a console. Oh, you want to play online with your friends? All right, cool. You have to buy, and spend this every month.
Okay, well, you have to pay for internet.
But...
Okay, yeah, but with your console, you have to pay for internet and that. So not a counter argument.
I was gonna have internet anyway.
Yeah,
I want to pay for a subscription service that only like-minded people I can connect with.
You're just in a cult.
No,
I want to pay money so I can be with like-minded people. Cult.
Masterminds is what they call them.
Okay, cool.
But I haven't touched my Switch. I haven't touched my Switch since the last Pokemon. It's my Pokemon machine. That's fine.
Must be because
doesn't make me look like a weirdo. No. My PlayStation. It's a full entertainment thing. I watched Godzilla vs. King Kong the other day with my son.
Oh.
You can't.
Oh, so you'll watch that, but you won't watch Black Hawk Down.
Right.
When are you going to teach your kid about the real world?
Kaiju. I'd rather watch a kaiju fight, a Titan fight. Yeah.
So, okay. Wagonite. I'm sorry to hate on Black Hawk Down, but
did you finally watch it?
I didn't watch it, but I was going to send you a screenshot of it where we were watching G.I. Joe Revenge of Cobra. I was gonna be like, this is basically Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, it counts the same. It counts. It counts. It counts.
It's literally not.
That makes no sense. That makes zero sense.
It is literally
a movie with an army guy, so I basically saw it.
Yeah, because the thing is with Black Hawk Down is it's all based on facts of things that actually happened.
G.I. Joe happened.
Yeah, I forgot about the evil mastermind Cobra. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
It's a representation of the cabal and what the shadow government is doing. Okay, ask any kid who grew up with G.I. Joe. Like, hey, uncle, hey, dad, how was that? They'll tell you, they'll relive the experience and how the parallels from today line up and why we need to be aware of these things. Knowing is half the battle.
You were just indoctrinated as a child.
Indoctrinated?
Yep.
Indoctrinated? I'm fine being indoctrinated to something like G.I. Joe, being an alpha male, fighting the global cabal. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm done with this. I'm done with this conversation of you just trying to egg me on and get me hyped up and upset. Okay? I'm not engaging. All right? You know you're wrong.
Oh, you engage.
You know you're wrong.
No, no, I'm not. You still have not refuted. No one has refuted the fact that console is more wholesome. It looks less weird. It's like, oh yeah, okay. Y'all just kind of want to gloss over that and be like, whoa.
No, I said I have two things. The one thing was the situation with her brother where I was like, I agreed, but then the other thing I didn't get to say, but I had an old buddy in college. Every time we'd go over to his place, he just had it like there in his house, and he had two controllers, and like he'd have TV on one, and then like we'd play Overwatch, we'd switch out back and forth. I don't know. So like we used it like it was.
Hold on.
I don't know. So people you can use it with friends. I don't know.
My side note,
like with a PC, it's like watch me play Oblivion.
I think.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. We did. That's how I met. That's how I found out about Overwatch. Was playing it with a friend on PC.
See,
like we just had his controller and move it back and forth.
See, like
and we all ended up on console.
Here's what I think the root of the issue is. I don't like poor people, and for some reason, y'all like poor people.
Whoa. Okay, where are these shots coming from?
Okay,
like,
you want
four people?
Okay.
A console's like $600, bro.
Oh, cool. Okay, no. Let me provide my argument. Okay, my argument is you believe in Cobal Cabal because you're broke, so therefore they get to control you. You don't like that. I'm okay with that. Broke people need to be controlled. Okay, they're wild. They're unhinged. You can't trust them. They're not predictable enough. Okay. PC versus console. PC people spend a lot more money on it. I can respect it. Okay? I think the root of the issue comes down to y'all sympathize with poor people who have to buy consoles, and I don't.
You know, there's also rich people who actually understand the cabal. And also, how would you feel if I put, I don't know, $5,000 into like an anime sword collection? That would also be equally socially distanced and weird and coping.
I would honestly think it's kind of cool, to be honest.
You have this weird perception that people who have PCs are weird and don't have any friends and stuff like that. Do you know what 90% of like Twitch streamers stream with? A PC, not an Apple computer, not a console. Most of them stream with a PC.
Right.
Most people have plenty of friends.
The immense amount of talent that comes out of there. People eating sandwiches and people showing their cleavage. I forgot.
I don't know the last time you complained about cleavage, but you, sir, have changed.
I just did.
You've changed. You've changed, and I don't like how you've changed.
So wait.
I mean, sure. There's some hate in my heart that I don't make thousands of dollars eating sandwiches for people and getting the lowest effort, lowest common denominator attention of me watching somebody watching something and just, oh, no, chat, am I going to start smoking? No. Please, thanks for donating. Like, yeah, there's a little hate. There's a little hate there.
Wow. So you don't even respect the hustle is what you're saying.
I respect the hustle, but I can still hate it. I respect the grind. I respect the work they put in. However, it is slightly frustrating that I don't get paid to do lowest common denominator stuff.
Hey, if it's so easy, why don't you start doing those common denominator things?
Is that what I want my legacy to be?
What legacy do you have right now?
A legacy is made later. So what do you mean?
Okay, so you think you would be successful in doing Twitch and doing what you think you can do?
No, I just told you I don't want to be famous for Twitch.
I don't think you can do it.
That's not going to challenge me to do it. I'm telling you right now. That's like telling me that you couldn't build a house. I'm not trying to build a house.
Yeah, well, either way, I don't think you could do it. There's our disagreement on it.
So what would you want your legacy to be then?
What?
How would you even know?
Something else. How would you know? You have to sit down with it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to get too deep on that.
I literally don't think most legacies are things that are thought out. I think it just kind of happens. Because it's just like it's just like Devin's argument of like being profound. The people who are profound are the ones who aren't trying to be profound. And I think that's the same thing with like a legacy. Like you're not trying to build a legacy. You're just doing your thing and focusing on what you're doing, and then you leave behind a legacy. It's not something you try for. It's you know what I mean? You can at least focus on it.
You can at least be aware enough to realized like this is what it would be like Kobe being the greatest basketball player he could be with his entire, putting everything he had, all his eggs in the basketball. There's probably a point where he was like, okay, this is what I'm going to be known for. So you can catch it. You can't create what it'll be after you leave, but you can catch it. Like the people who made Coca-Cola, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Steve Jobs, Apple, or being a highly successful entrepreneur. So you can catch it like, okay, is it going to be this? But you can also catch it what you don't want it to be. That's why a lot of those child stars have those mental breakdowns, or like they freak out and they start acting out of character. Or you see a lot with like middle-aged guys. I mean, even some guys our age, quarter life crisis, right? Of like, they're like, I don't want to be pigeonholed. And they start freaking out and they start doing all this different stuff because they don't want to be pigeonholed. And they don't want that to be like this. So you can catch it, but I don't know if you can necessarily craft it.
Yeah. Like my thing with the legacy is it's not something you focus on. You just kind of do a thing. It takes off, and that's what your legacy is.
Built around you.
Yeah. You like, I don't know, you just kind of focus on yourself, and that's how a legacy is built.
Right, for sure. Well, dude, so speaking of legacies, it's Jackie Chan's birthday today. Did y'all watch Jackie Chan Adventures growing up?
I watched like a little bit of it. I can't remember.
When he had the talisman?
Mm-hmm. The one that came on Disney Channel, I think.
I thought it was Kids WB.
Oh, you're right. Yep, you're right. It's Kids WB.
He had the talisman.
I forgot about Kids WB.
The rooster gave you flying. The ox gave you super strength. The snake was invisibility. The dog was immortality. So if somebody had the dog, you couldn't kill them.
I don't remember all of them, but I remember.
Those are like the 3 I remember, or 4.
I don't know, dude. I know. See, like when I was little, I didn't watch. I saw that in like peripheral, but I never concentrated on trying to watch that. Like when I was growing up, like the shows I focused on watching, like was like you had Yu-Gi-Oh for a little bit, you had Pokemon for a little bit. Those 2 I kind of kept up with, and then like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Never watched that.
Dude, Shaolin Showdown was top tier to me.
So, like, here's
That's what I was trying to think of. They have all the different artifacts, right?
So my problem with Shaolin Showdown, it does like I can't watch that today. Like I tried rewatching it. I watched like 3 episodes. I was like, how did I like this as a kid? I can go back now and watch like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm still into it.
I don't know the last thing. There's a lot of things I don't revisit because I don't want them ruined. There's a lot of things I'm like, I'm scared this is going to suck as an adult. So I'm just going to preserve the memory and let it die there. But Shaolin Showdown was amazing.
See, like as a kid, really great. As an adult, I'm like, I don't know why I thought this was so great. I think it was the illusion of action.
It reminded me of like a kid DBZ type thing.
Well, I just thought the artifacts giving different powers was cool. And then they leveled up and they eventually got these different alternate forms when they found their true power. So there was like some cool stuff, man.
See, my only problem with that, like that show is it was the same format every time. And even as a kid, I kind of picked that up of like, oh, there's this crazy new artifact. Okay, well, he found it. Okay, cool. They battle. He loses the first time. Second time comes around, he wins them both.
But it gets more engaging because then once they start battling up their stockpile, they're like, what are you wagering? I'm wagering the Lotus flip coin or the Mantis flip coin. I'm wagering, the Lotus of this and the Orb of Water, the whatever. And then they're like, they know. And then there's like the 3v3s where you could have multiple ones bet. So there's more at stake and there's different powers involved. So it kind of added more to it.
I don't disagree, but to be honest, what was top tier for me and was a kid's show was The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah, dude.
Avatar was
just rewatched that last year.
Dude, that is one that like full ramp up,
still good
story.
Now.
Like it's just good on so many different levels. Even if you're a kid, it's good too.
Mm-hmm.
Never watched. I watched like 2 or 3 episodes.
It's really good.
It's great.
Well, I watched Legend of Korra. It was not as good, but it was all right.
I watched like the first season of Legend of Korra, and after that, just kind of dropped it.
Yeah, I mean the second and third, they're okay. I mean, I watched it to watch it because I paid for the Nickelodeon subscription for a month, but.
Everything has a subscription service. Oh my gosh. I saw an ad the other day for this. I think it was Discovery Channel. I can't remember, but their opening pitch was like, hey, it's not just another streaming app. Yes, it is. Yes.
They're getting smaller. They get smaller, bro. Like Disney just has a select few. Yeah. Discovery has a few. Paramount Plus, that's one.
See, I have.
That's the one that got advertised.
I have
Paramount. That's what it was.
Paramount Plus. And I have that for like reality TV shows that I enjoy watching. I have Netflix, which I haven't touched in forever.
What reality TV do you like watching, Wagon?
I want to know. Yeah, let's stop there. Yeah.
So shows that I enjoy watching that are somewhat reality. Not like that. Like it's reality, like game shows, like Survivor and Big Brother, where it's literally
Never heard of Big Brother.
So Big Brother is kind of like Survivor, but they're locked in a house. They have different challenges and stuff like that. And it's not as gritty as Survivor. But the reason why I like shows like that is because it's like, dude, the person who's the best liar can win. Like, there's so many things of like, you can see how the game is played and you can kind of look at it and be like, man, I don't think I could do this. Like, this is where I'd fail. Because, like, Survivor, I'm like, dude, most of these challenges, I don't think I'd do great in. As social, like, you go to a social game, dude, I'm rough around the edges when you first meet me. Like, I'm not someone you like when you first meet him. After a little bit, I grow on you. But in the beginning, people don't like me.
So you think you could win Big Brother?
So my thing is with like Big Brother or like Survivor, I think I could go far in Survivor just because like as long as I don't butt heads with people too much, the longer I'm there, the more people are going to like me. So I'm like, okay, maybe that. Big Brother, on the other hand, my problem is like because it's not like Survivor, you're off on your own. There's other things to focus on, like getting food, building shelter, getting a fire going, kind of maintaining stuff. Big Brother is just a bunch of people kind of sitting in a house, and I can't do like gossip well. I am bad at gossip.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, I don't think you're flagrant enough for something like Big Brother. Yeah, you have to be a huge socialite, and you have to be like a massive ego. And then, yeah, you play people against each other to win your challenges. You know, it's like a thing. And you have to have like a standout personality and lean into it even harder while they're feeding you the script. And then there's just so much. Yeah, it's like that's the whole point of it. Yeah.
So like for me,
that's one's weird.
Big Brother though, like I feel I could win more Big Brother challenges than Survivor ones. Because, like, Survivor ones, oh, yeah, you're kind of starving out here. It's been, like, a week or two, and y'all really haven't had much food. Here's a memory game for you. And it's like, dude, my memory sucks even when I'm on, like, full tank. I'm ready to go. Like, if I've slept well, eaten well. I just don't think I do well in Survivor challenges, and I think that's what would hold me back in Survivor.
I think you do fine. I think those things are actually shot in, like, 2 weeks. Like, who the hell is getting a month of PTO approved? Or like a sliding scale of PTO that's like, hey, I need anywhere from a week to 2 months off, Bob. Well, like, what?
So like, here's my side argument.
They're like, change clothes. All right. It's been 6 weeks, survivors.
No,
like their beards haven't grown at all.
Here's my side argument. A lot of them, like, you got like retirees or you have people who like are in like successful family or they're not overly important in the job is kind of what you see. And then there's some people who are like, yeah, I had to quit my job to come here and do this, but it was my lifelong dream to do it, so I'm doing it.
Oh my gosh.
So like for me, I'm like, nah, I can see it. Like the Big Brother one, that's legit. They are locked in the house for that long. Like they film everything. You can see the building and everything. So that one, I'm like, that's for real. Survivor, to my knowledge, it's real. Like even the contestants that have been on it, they're like, no, it's a real thing. They're like, you
even
go
Joe
out
Rogan's
there.
real.
What do you mean?
That's Fear Factor.
Fear Factor.
Fear Factor.
Yeah, Fear Factor was real, but it was
it
was
Joe
over
Rogan
a week
is a
of
3D
shooting.
projection.
Yeah, he's not real. All part of the global
Astral
cabal to control
projection.
us.
Dude, like I watched the best one I saw was I think it's Rhythm and Flow. It's on Netflix. It was the rap one, but that one was like a week and a half. I could tell because like just the way they did the challenges and like their outfits. I'm like this is the same day, or like this is literally that afternoon. But it was also fun to know that because it was like they're having to write songs every single day. I'm like, you'd have to give me like 2 weeks to make something quarter decent. They're having to do it day in and day out, make a new song, like make a new rap. Well, and then finally they have a performance. That was like a 3-day thing they had to prepare for.
Well, like same thing we all talked a couple weeks ago about like Ink Masters. Like that's technically a reality show.
Yeah, I think that was shot in like 24 hours.
What? Dude, have you seen the episode we were talking about?
No, dude.
Yeah, where they fight the guy.
I got like 2 or 3 seasons in. It was like, all right.
Do you get passionate about reality shows, Clayton? Do you get passionate about them? Like you you dive deep on the disagreements.
So like Big Brother and like Survivor, dude, I get heated when there's people who are like, they're clearly so bottom of the totem pole And you get to watch them mentally try to convince themselves that they're at the very top of like, yeah, I've got them right where I want them. And it's like, what are you talking about, dude? And they're all against you. They want to vote you out. It's like, yeah, that's exactly where I want to be. Because, I know where everybody stands. And it's like...
You think it's funny to laugh at people with low social intelligence?
Yes, I find that hilarious. And, like, those are the ones I get heated about. Because it's like, dude, you are so dumb. But I also love, like, the underdog story. Because, like, dude, Big Brother, you will have people completely misconstrue and lie about events and have everyone buy into it. And by the time, like, the person even finds out that this is going on, the whole house hates them for no reason. Like, dude, I love it. You can just be minding your own business, and then it's like, all right, rumor mill's come along. I heard he kicked a dog. It's like, oh, God. Like, now everyone in the house hates him, and it's just like, oh, God.
He pissed in the apple juice. He pissed in the apple juice? Well, I think
I'm not saying he did, but he hangs out an awfully lot around the apple juice. Like, they'll do things like that too. Of like, did he do that? I didn't. Like
some other guys.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
I have seen him piss. That guy does piss. Yeah.
Dude, that's what I love. Like, dude, that's why I'm addicted to watching stuff like that.
Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, he was pissing over there just the other day. And then everyone's like, yeah, I don't piss. It's like everyone plays into the lie.
Well, it shows like a black and white cutaway of him like on his phone, like looking around right by the apple juice.
He's just drinking it. No, it's like him in the urinal. Black and white.
Dude, like my thing is too with like Big Brother, dude. You will have like crazy stuff happen that makes no sense at all why it took off. But I also love the dynamic too of like, have you ever had a roommate? They do things that step on your toes. And in this show, it's like, yes, all these people are against each other. Let's put them all in the same house and make them roommates. It's like, okay, we know drama's kicking off. Regardless of whether it's even about the game, it's like, dude, he does not pick up after himself. He's always eating the good food. Like, dude.
Dude, what makes that scenario even funnier of him looking around like no one's there, you have to zoom out of the scenario. There's two camera guys with like boom mics hanging over him, and some guy, not with like a phone, with the shoulder mounted camera, and he's looking around like no one's there. No, see, there is a film crew on you.
See, that's just it with Big Brother. It's all cameras they've pre-positioned in the house. So they have people who literally sit there all day and night and operate cameras or switching between camera views and stuff like that. Like, that's another thing, too. Like, there's no privacy when you go into Big Brother either. Like, you are on for, like, I think it's like 60 days. They do, like, two months if you make it that far. On top of that, there's live feeds of the house going at all times. There's always staff watching you, and there's always strangers watching you, because like if you pay for like if you log into their website and you have the correct like subscription, you can just straight up watch the live cameras. Like you can just watch the house. Mm-hmm.
Watch these humans interact.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's another thing that's weird about it. I don't think I could deal with that being watched all the time like that.
Probably get over it after a few days. And you have to think about that personality type too. When they get the really flagrant people that are like huge egos, like, oh, people will want to watch me, bro. I look great sleeping. I look great walking. Everyone's going to be on my side when they hear me talk. You know what I mean? So like that personality type too is probably like, watch me.
Dude,
like,
my favorite thing is like shows like that, they do audition tapes. So like, dude, you're getting like thousands upon thousands of those tapes to watch people like I wonder what is like makes them stand out. You know what I mean? Like what makes them go like, all right, call this guy in for an interview. Because what they do is they'll do the audition tapes, then they go through, all right, here's all the people we're interested in, have them come in, we'll do an interview. Okay, cool. We do the interview. All right, cool. You need to get checked out by medical before we can do anything. You got to see our physicians so that they can approve you to do this stuff. They go through all that. Like, what makes these people stand out? Like, because there have been seasons of the shows where I'm just like, dude, I don't like watching any of these people.
Depends on the recruiter and everything. Depends on the recruiter, and like a lot of it is looks, man. I remember, dude, my mom took me. We heard on the radio one day there's a talent scouting agency in Dallas. I was like probably 12 at the time, I think, somewhere around that age, and it was like for like kid models and kid stars. And she took me, and we sat in this lobby, or sat in like the conference room, like all like the rows of chairs. And I remember it was my turn to go up, and they're like, all right, smile. And I was like, I didn't know how to smile yet. Like, to be honest, like now when I smile, it's like, it's all big and cheesy. Then I was just like, they're like, next. And I was just like, in my head, I'm like, dang, I already lost. I didn't even get to talk to him. You know what I mean? Because like, I didn't get to talk. Bro,
okay.
No, like, dude, the way home, bro. I remember she got on the phone with the family. I was like, yeah, Devin gave this half-ass smile, and I was like, damn. I always wonder, like, would my life have been different? Like, had I just smiled different? And they're like, oh, all right,
we can make it work with some lighting.
Yeah, make them up. Yeah.
But, okay, so. Side thing along the same rabbit trail. Okay, so first things first, you could be on any reality TV show. Which one do you pick? And then what do you do in the audition tape to try to get yourself to stand out?
Dude, you gotta throw some out there, because like what comes to mind, the only ones I can think of are like stuff I couldn't do. Ink Masters, I can't tattoo.
No.
American Idol,
Jersey Shore.
I can't sing.
I'm saying like just like any kind of reality game show ones. Like, I don't know a whole bunch of them. Or like, do you think you could do something like The Real World or something like that, where like you're just on reality TV? They just film you for like a summer hanging out with a bunch of random roommates and stuff. Like kind of how like Jersey Shore was. Like, we just grabbed a bunch of random people and threw them in a house.
Well, those random people all had the common interest. GTO.
Yes. So like, here's my thing. It was like,
ooh.
Based on that, what do you think you could get in?
Dude.
Like, what do you pick, and then what do you do in your audition tape to get you to stand out?
Dude, you know what? Okay, so like, there is a reality show. There used to be a skateboard one. It was called Woodward, like Camp Woodward, because Woodward's an actual skate camp.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like rich kids go there. But if you're there, they film, you have a chance of being on camera. And then if you have a personality, they follow you. I think one of the people they got kind of a name off that was like Alex Midler, I think, if that's his name. But I would crank up my personality to at least get on there. Granted, I can barely skate anymore, but I would just let my personality kind of carry me through the show just to get the camera time, because I could just kind of hang out with everyone. I think I could do that.
Okay. So what do you do in the audition tape? Because like audition tape.
Oh, I go back. Oh, audition tape.
That's the key thing. What are you doing in your audition tape to get them to cue in on you?
Oh, okay. I pick a random topic and I rant about it for 5 minutes straight, like as most ridiculous I can.
Okay. What about
no matter
you?
what show it is?
And
they're like, oh.
What about you, Schwinn?
I mean, I don't know what show, but to get on, I would just try to be like pretty much the person that's going to get triggered by anything. That's what I would try to portray.
Okay.
Like, this guy's going to,
so
he's going to get
outrage
upset.
at everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Like, when they're filming me, I'm like, okay, you mind taking your mask off while you film me? I don't like that. Like, stuff like that. Just unnecessary confrontation. Like, that would get you there.
Okay. I like that. And this is the thing. So, Clay, this is interesting, Clayton, because I want to hear your answer, because this is why I asked you, do you get passionate about reality TV? Because everything surmises with you saying, but I don't care. So I'm like, yeah, so like, what gets you, like, how would you get on the reality show? Like, what angle would you take? Because like everything usually surmises in like don't care.
So I've got it. I'm going with like either Survivor or Big Brother. And what I'm showcasing, I have them film me working with a customer. I'm just going to blatantly lie to the customer while they agree with everything. And then at the end, turn to the camera and be like, I literally lied to them about everything. As they freak out of like, wait, what? What?
There's a camera crew there.
Yeah. Just that.
No, make it. Dude, make yourself look like you're a schizophrenic. Like, turn to nothing and be like, I totally got them.
Looking the complete wrong direction. Like looking away from the camera.
Yeah. Like there's Like go full schizo.
Send it into them, but only use like the company's security camera footage.
Dude, and even in your audition, be like, if you take me, you take my friend here, and there's no one there. Like, play up the whole schizo thing.
I think that gets you like blacklisted immediately.
No, dude. If I'm a producer, I'm like, we have our guy for this.
Here's the problem.
We have our weirdo.
Liability issues.
Because
like that's just
you sign a waiver.
You have no. You have to like even then if I like let's say I'm on like Big Brother. If I get stabbed in the Big Brother house, dude, that show's done. It does not matter. Like doesn't matter if I signed a waiver.
Get stabbed?
That's what I'm saying though. That being a possibility with a schizophrenic person. No.
Okay.
What?
So
no. This guy's crazy. Let's stab him.
No, wait.
It's the fact that like schizophrenic is like, dude, wild card. You have no idea.
You could just be like a little intimidating. Like you could the video could be you in a dark room. You can only just really see your face and the table in front of you, and you pick up baby rats and you hit them on the table and like kill it and like feed your snake. And then just,
okay, they're definitely
definitely passing on that.
But here's the schizo thing. Like anytime somebody talks to you in the Big Brother house, you're like, you calling us out? Like you always speak in like a dual, like, well, the way we're gonna approach this challenge, like, there's never anyone there. Never.
Just like in the bedroom
people
talking
sit down
like, bro, I think you're really gonna get us kicked out with the way you're acting. Like, dude, they do not like you.
Like people sit down like right next to you, and you're like, hey, can you not sit on my friend? He was there.
Dude,
like,
so
you gotta play into the schizo.
So my thing is like, don't do that in the audition, but when you get in the house, you do it to mess with people. That's what you pull out of your back pocket. So like in the beginning, you're normal during the audition, everything like that. You get in, then once you're in the house, you pretend like you're crazy. Like,
or you just have split personalities.
Making like tinfoil hats and stuff like that. And then like finding one person that's kind of on the outs too, making them a tinfoil hat and be like, they're going to try to read your mind. And you just put it on awkwardly. Like don't even ask permission, just do it.
Yeah, you got to flip the script when the camera's on, dude. Like when the real camera's on, like you got to shave your like half of your head. You got to do your old school haircuts. Like you have only bangs and then be like, it's because the cameras told me to. Just like you gotta like go all the way in, dude.
Just always.
And then you gotta like try to start a mutiny against the show host. Like
dude,
get everyone in. To, like,
why are we competing for the million? They've done this like 13 seasons in a row. They've clearly got more than that. Why don't we just rise up against them? Then we could all have it.
Like we harvest the host's organs. I want his teeth. He's got a great smile. Like you gotta like go in, dude.
I call his elbow just the bone, though.
Oh,
dude, but that's like, and that's the thing. Like that's the funny thing is like kind of like it reminds me of the Twitch thing. But I was talking to my dad about that the other day. We got on some topic of OnlyFans, and then Bad Baby got brought up, and I'm like, why don't you and I just get on TV and I just try? We somehow make it to Dr. Phil. I just trash talk you, and now I'm a celebrity.
Dude, so
like, she's a millionaire. Bad Baby's a millionaire.
So what? that happened with a infamous internet troll called Dick Masterson. He is on Dr. Phil because he literally just trolls and messes with people. Like that's what he does. Like he's a hilarious dude. Like, his whole thing is like, I'm funny. I'm gonna be funny. He does like, I think he does like a podcast and kind of a show where he can call in and stuff like that. So he did that, but he ended up getting on Dr. Phil, and they did not research who he was. So he went on there and pretended to be a blatant sexist. Dude, it is hilarious. Like, I'm pretty sure if you just YouTube like sexist on Dr. Phil, he'll pop up. Dude, hilarious if you understand that he's trolling the whole time.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're like gaming the system. I thought you were saying the origin of Bad Baby was he trolled her to fame. Oh, okay.
No,
He's just gamed the system. Like, this is going to go viral.
He did that before them. Yeah. Like, he was already somewhat big. The problem is the show didn't do their due diligence. And he exploited that.
Right. Which, I mean, it's almost a win-win. It's almost a win-win.
Hilarious, bro. I love that. It was a great episode to watch. But, dude, I still can't get over the fact that girl has got a following. I don't understand it.
She's a millionaire and we all work.
Like, here's my thing, though, is I just don't understand why
there's nothing wrong with this country.
People are still following her. That's my thing. Like, when it first happened, it was like, oh, that's hilarious. I moved on, and it just feels weird that a lot of people didn't.
It's everything that gets famous like that. You're watching a train wreck. You cannot look away. You're just like, and every time it comes back, you're like, what is this? It's just like you can't. You know what I mean? Like I don't watch the Dumb Paul brother, Jake. But if something goes viral with him, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm like, what is this? And it's just, you know what I mean? If there's another scandal, if there's another fight, I'm just like, this is so ridiculous.
Well,
like, what?
What? She just broke some record on OnlyFans like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was
a millionaire.
$1 million. Or it was like a couple million in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, it was stupid.
I don't understand society, man. It's also weird knowing that many people were watching the clock. You know what I mean? Because
okay, and that's everybody's issue.
She turned 18, and immediately everyone jumped on it, and it's like, dude, that's weird.
Okay,
I didn't know she was under 18. A lot of people, to be honest.
Yeah,
I thought she was already 18 when she went on Dr. Phil.
No, she was like 16
she was like 14
or something. Oh yeah, no, 14 because that was a while ago.
Dude, okay, and here's the thing. That is a lot of people's issue with it. They're like, if you participate in that, I got questions for you. Or like, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, I get it. Maybe some people were watching the clock. Is it weird? Debatable, yes. But here's the thing. What do you want? Because they also waited until she was of legal age. So it's like, okay, so you can't win? You know what I mean? They're like, you know, how do you approach this? Even me speaking about this like looks incriminating because it's like, how do you approach this topic without being like, watching the clock, weren't you?
I get what you're saying because it's like it's the argument of like, well, she's 18 now, so it's okay. But you were watching to wait till she was 18. Okay, yeah, but I still waited. Like, I get what you're saying is like it's a weird dynamic of it's like, okay, she was like 17 and 11 months. Turned 18, that's when it was good to go. I think it's the idea of they associate it with like the idea of grooming.
Yeah, that's what it is. But it's also like, can nobody catch a break? What if the person who did, like, again, like I just found out about her like 2 months ago or something or whatever. I don't know, somehow, right? Or just found out about her yesterday because she broke a record on the website and they're like, oh, what is this? Let me check this out. And then now they're grouped in with everybody that's like, you know what I mean? You were waiting. It's like, I don't know who this person is. What is the deal? I thought the rule was, again, playing to the rules. I was at Applebee's yesterday at this one I never go to with a friend. And I ordered a whiskey and Sprite. And then I'm sitting there with a friend. I'm like, hey, we're going to do a shot. And the bartender's like, yeah, 2 drinks at once. I said, that's the rule? She said, yeah, that's the rule. She was kind of rude. I was like, cool. Go ahead and put me the shot in. And I sucked I just got it, sucked the entire thing down and gave it to her. And she's like, well, you're not supposed to drink the whole thing like that. I said, you said the rule was one drink at a time. So I followed your rules. And she got kind of pissed. Like, so that was cool.
My thing is, like, dude, that's one of the weird things for me is, like, over serving and stuff like that. Like, alcohol laws are, like, dude, there are some places that, like, it's obvious they don't follow them. Like, dude, like a club, like, they blatantly do not follow the over serving.
How do you keep
rule,
track of that? Weird. There's no way.
Yeah.
Well, like, you can look at someone and be like, yeah, they definitely don't need another drink. They just ignore it. That's what's weird to me about it.
It's okay. And then here's the other thing. Like, so and it was funny because then she threw another rule. So, well, it's 3 drinks per hour now, so you should probably slow down. I'm like, okay. Here's the thing. She said the rule was this, right? And like, it depends who you know. Because, like, if I go to the one in town, like, they're cool. Like, they'll even let me go past last call if I get there late. They're like, oh, we just know, we know Devin. You know what I mean? So, it is a hard thing. And even being a server, having to cut somebody off, and I don't get belligerent, but, like, I have had to cut, like, I was, like, 19 or so, telling, some 45-year-old guy, like, dude, you've had too much. Like, that's a fun conversation.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's strange to me. I don't understand it. Like, it's weird that people care to the rules so much, but I also understand why they're in place.
Right. Dude, and then the other thing about this whole experience at Applebee's yesterday, they had an employee Easter egg hunt, okay? Which, I want y'all's opinion on this because I thought it was fine. I'm just there chilling. I get it. We all know how work is. Work needs to be fun sometimes. So the manager hid Easter eggs around the restaurant, got all the employees together, like, hey, we're going to have a 10-minute Easter egg hunt, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Just trying to make work fun. Right when it started, this old guy walks in, and he is not having it. He is flipping out from the second he sat down because someone was not behind the bar. And I tried to, like, calm him down and make a joke. If I tried to ease him down, I was just like, he's like, nobody's running the bar. I was like, no, we're just serving ourselves. He did not think that was funny. And he's like, so no one's going to help us? I'm like, nah, just reach over and grab something. Why don't you? And he's just like, he just got really mad at me. And then he looks for anyone in charge, and he just starts blowing them up about, like, you got customers. I don't got time for this. I need to get in and out. And then sits down and gets a beer. What do you mean get in and out? You're here drinking a beer, dude. You're here to chill out. And he's just going off about how stupid it is, and they should have done this after hours. I'm just like, dude, ease up.
Dude,
pull that stick out of your ass.
Dude, I hate things like that when they're like, well, you should just do it after hours. Bro, 90% of people aren't going to show up to that. Like, dude, anytime my coworkers are like, let's we'll all go out and, drink sometime after work. No, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't know where you get this idea that after work, I want to hang out with you people more. It's like, dude, we've already worked like an 8-hour shift together. Think we've already probably exhausted everything we're going to talk about. Alcohol's not going to change that. I'm good.
Okay.
Like, I
picture you actually saying that.
I do. Like, I tell them constantly. They're like, well, we could do it. And they're like, yeah, but he won't come. Yeah, because, dude, I don't know where y'all get this idea that I overly want to hang out after work. I don't. I want to go home and relax. Like, I don't want to go to a bar because, like, one, I'm not going to drink so much that I'm going to have fun. Because it's like, okay, cool. Now I can't drive home safely. I'm not going to do that. And it's like, okay, well, let me go there and have one beer. No. Like, I'd rather just go home. It's a waste.
I think it's just it can be a good social lubricant, man. Like, to have just a drink or two, it's still safe enough to drive. And, like, even if I've worked 8 hours with somebody, Well, there's still more to talk about. We can like really dive deep. I mean, just us, dude.
Okay, here's
not
the difference.
Drinking. We've talked for like 7 hours straight before. And then talked the next day.
Let me give you my defense, though. It all comes down to the people. Because we both know that I've worked at another store where I have done that. I came there after my day off, like during my day off, and went to hang out with them. Like, it's different. It has to be the right people, and the people that I have now, I'm just like, to be honest, I don't have an interest to have a conversation with you after work. Like, I just really don't. Like, because here's the thing. I went to the golf range with them. Good time. Had a great time. Would I do it again? Yeah. It was chill. All we did was just focus on what we were doing, talked a little trash to each other, and then we left. It wasn't like, oh, we're sitting down and having a conversation for 4 hours. It's like, dude, save it for work, man. Like,
keep it interesting. See, my thing is, I guess because I'm a conversationalist, like, we could talk all day at work and then go out and like I still have more that we can talk about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, I want to do an activity, you know, which I'll do both. We'll go bowling, whatever.
But my thing is too, though, is like, there are certain people where I can have a deep conversation with them and I'll enjoy that conversation. There are some people where it's like they don't want to get deep into things that I'm interested in. And I don't want to get deep into things that it's like when you're dating someone, you know, when you're not compatible. Like, there are girls you talk to and guys that you talk to that it's just like surface level wise, like, you're an interesting person, you're good looking, but we don't share any interest, so it can't go anywhere.
No, I get that. Yeah, that for sure. I'm like, your personality is like it's just carbon copy of something else. Like I have nothing to speak to you about.
It's not even that.
Have I met you before?
It's just the fact of like their interest could be just completely different from mine, and in things that I just have no interest of, and like the little bit that they've told me hasn't grabbed my interest. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it depends. So, and it also depends like how passionate they are about it, dude. So that was one of the best parts about the Reiki session meditation I did the other day, talking to her before and after. Dude, it feels so good to like just be a complete student for a bit and like feel dumb again. Like it was like we sat down and she's like, I was thinking we could drink some tea before. I'm like, yeah, let's like, I said yes to everything she offered. I was like, cool. I was like, tell me about these teas. Cause like, I mean, I know like sweet tea and I had like Tivana before, you know, like green teas, but like this was like this black dragon tree. It sounded crazy. And then like she got the leaves wet and like poured that out and then got it re-wet and then it went into the cup and I'm like, what are you doing? I was asking questions. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like explaining to me all this stuff about tea. And I'm like, and she's like, you know, drinking it. And like, she's telling me what notes and flavors that she smells. And I'm like, I straight up told her, I was like, you could have told me anything and I would have agreed with you. Like, this is all new to me. You know what I mean? And then like, we did the guided meditation. And then like, we talked about like purpose and passion. And like, she's one of those people that has like the crystals. I'm like, tell me about the crystals. Like, what makes the collection complete? And like, that went down a rabbit hole. And then I'm like, what's the top tier one? She's like, oh, this one's called Maldivite, but it's kind of overrated right now because TikTok ruined it. Here, it's cool, but it's overrated right now. And it was like seeing someone this whole other niche, but they knew like so much about it. Like, I walked out so refreshed. I'm like, I'm like, dude, my brain was like expanded, like, because I knew nothing basically. And she's like, here's how the tea leaves readings work. And then she's like, I have this certain music we play. I'm like, show me that. Like, that was just so cool because she could go so deep on something that I've maybe like put my pinky toe in. Like, that felt really good.
See, my problem with things like that, I can't get into it. It's the argument of my logical brain. Like, as soon as you said that, I was like, let me see what this is and what it's about. And I'm like, yeah, it's a pseudoscience. Like, none of this is real. It's all placebo. And like that, I think that ruins experiences for me like that, because I'm such a logical person. placebo is hard to work on me. Even if, because you can gain stuff from placebo. Like how you're saying, like, yeah, I walked out really fresh, like really good mood, everything like that. It was all placebo. But for me, like my logical brain, I can't ever get past that placebo.
Well, okay, so I'll tell you it wasn't. Go ahead, Q.
Well, I was just gonna say one thing, like whether it's placebo or not, like let's say even if it is placebo, that's still extremely powerful because its brain still had a reaction. You can't deny that. Like it still released some sort of dopamine or whatever that crap is. Like I think that's the whole point. Like the brain is powerful enough to trick itself into something happening.
Yeah, what I'm saying,
he did have an experience.
So yeah, I'm not taking away from that. I'm not saying he didn't have an experience. What I'm saying is like because I have a logical brain that kind of just looks at things and like, yeah, that doesn't seem real. There's no way that works. Placebo doesn't.
You're like shut. Your doors are shut to it.
When it comes to placebo, yeah, it's shut. And like part of me, like that sucks for me because it's like, dude, yeah, I'd love to have that. Like I'm not denying his experience. I think there's power in things like that. I'm okay with it as long as they don't claim stuff. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you got to learn to like. I'm sure, like, I don't know. I'm sure you got to let go, dude. Like, you know, to like be able to experience something like that,
dude. 100%, dude. Expectations, and that's like, and I made a thing on it, but I lead with your expectations are what killing everything. So like, I knew nothing about it going in. I didn't Google it. I didn't YouTube it. I literally did no research on it. Like I knew nothing. That's what made it fun. Because like anytime you go in with expectations, it just kills it. All right, video games, movies, whatever. So
all the hype.
Right, and like the refreshing part, I'm just saying that was me conversating with her and learning about all this other stuff. The Reiki, that was a journey. And here's the thing, like, here's why I don't think it's like placebo or pseudoscience. Like meditation is real. Like people will tell you to practice mindfulness. Like that is real. Like we still don't know where thoughts actually come from. So the things I saw in my brain, my thoughts, like I don't know where those were coming from. Like it was insanity, but I had to sit with them and watch them. You know what I mean? Like, there was so much. And then there was even parts of my story that she couldn't see that were in my brain. Like how can she read that? That she was reacting to in real life. There was something there. And that's what's so crazy about it. Like the stuff she was saying lined up with mine. And even at one point, the image playing in my head lined up with what she was saying after the fact. It was a trip, dude. Like it was a straight trip. So then I looked it up after, and it's a very old Eastern medicine.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a pseudoscience. That's how I look at it. It's a pseudoscience, and most of that stuff can be explained. Like that's the thing is like hypercritical. Are
you scared of having an experience?
It's not that. I'm not denying that you had an experience. What I'm telling you is that it was placebo that made you feel that way. And you also could have been conned by the fact that like, oh, she did this or reacted to this. Like, it's the same reason like psychics that were on TV and stuff. It was typically probing simple questions into making power of deduction and things like that. I'm not saying that I could go in and immediately tell you exactly what she's doing. But what I'm saying is enough, like, people who are smarter than me have looked at that and, like, there's just no scientific basis behind it.
Yeah, but we didn't do a psychic reading. Yeah, so I get that. Like, a psychic reading and those TV people that did it, yeah, no, 100%. But we didn't do that. Like meditation is real is what I'm saying. Like, you can sit there if you sit with your thoughts and let them swim away. Like, a lot of things are going to come up. But what I'm saying is weird is that, like, what we were thinking about lined up. That's just weird to me. And the things I saw and the way I saw them was completely unnatural to any other thought I've had prior.
But that's just the argument of your subconscious though, correct? Like same thing with like a dream. How often have you really thought about like, oh, all these things and then it happens in a dream? It happens from time to time, but not all the time. So for me, it's like, I can just explain that by the fact that you let yourself drop out and kind of let the subconscious take over. I can agree with that meditation. But if you go through like the full thing of like Reiki and stuff like that, it's all about like you look into it. It's about chakras and cheese and stuff like that, where none of that can be proven. And that's where I consider it as pseudoscience. As far as you get it being relaxed and doing a meditation where you just kind of let yourself pull back, that's a real thing. Like, that's normal. I feel that's just your subconscious taking over. But once you go deep into what it actually is, it's like same thing with like chiropractors. 90% of what they do isn't real. It's not a real thing. It's been proven like that's not how that works. Like, even if you look into the history of it. But muscle therapy and stuff like that chiropractors do did actually lead way in a scientific way. So like there was 90% was all fraud, but there was one part that they did happen to be correct about. And I think same thing with what you're doing. You're doing a guided meditation. Your subconscious came up. You experienced something because you were able to disconnect and let your subconscious take over for a moment. That's a real thing that can happen. I agree with that. But if you go into the deep of it of like, yeah, you just have like 3 chakras that are kind of blocked right now. Like, I don't believe in stuff like that.
See, okay, I'm open to the idea that all these things are possible. And here's what's funny. I have taken a personality test before that I was like, I think a 98th percentile on openness. So like if 100 people in the room, I'd be the 98th most open. But I'm just so open to things like that, to learning about, because what's weird, it felt like I was dreaming while I was awake. And what's the difference between the dream is in a dream, it was insanity. And the thing is like, one always implies the other. Like black implies white. So like dream implies reality and reality implies dream. So it's like, it did make me question reality because I was dreaming while I was awake. But the difference between it being a dream is that in the meditation, I was every person around me, and I would watch myself do stuff. Like I was watching myself in my old skate videos. I was watching myself take my first photo with Atlas. I was watching myself do these things. And like, I met myself underneath a tree. In a dream, it's usually first person and everything's happening around me, to me. I was watching myself in third person of these things that have actually happened to me and the things that haven't happened to me. It was weird, man. But the dreaming while awake was the trippiest thing. And then like one of the things where I had a living room full of Devons, and they all collapsed into each other and I absorbed them. And then like I turned around the TV and I was on the TV and I pulled myself out of the TV and I absorbed that me. It was all this stuff. And like I was talking to her about it and she said it was called like soul integration. And it's like, I don't know, there was a huge lesson to me in everything I saw, but I say also what I feel like now is like, I feel like I'm like finally coming into my personality. It's weird. Even though I've had the personality to y'all, but like, I feel like I finally feel comfortable in my personality.
So my thing with that is like most of those can be explained by subconscious things in your life, and like just like a dream, it's typically repressed things that you don't really think about that just have a weird way of presenting themselves. Because like, the photos with family, things like that, all those things, being able to see that, like that can easily be explained by the fact that that was an important moment in your life. Like it may not have clicked immediately in that moment, but it clicked. The reason why you can picture yourself is because you've seen yourself so often. You're able to imprint that image. I understand it's not normal in a dream, but like that's my thing is 90% of that can be explained by your subconscious. Like we go down the fact of like, oh, all these me's collapsed into each other. Well, I mean, I can easily draw a correlation without really much basis on it and be like, yeah, that's you because you're struggling to kind of know who you are completely. You think you know, but you're always struggling on what's the right balance of what at all times. You're finally learning that your balance is okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that logic though? Because can logic explain a dream? Because I also say that at the beginning of my thing is like nothing in your brain isn't something you haven't seen. I know. Yeah. Like even your dreams are amalgamations of everything you've seen. So a lot of the things I saw were like it was like a video game scene, but it was me, because that's like, you can't imagine something you haven't seen, but I get that. But can logic explain a dream? Can a logic explain what a dream, the difference between dream and reality and what subconscious is?
So like, here's my thing. It may not be able to explain what subconscious is, but there are elements within that we can explain as to why it makes sense that it's there, and it's a logical explanation. I won't disagree with that, but that's my thing. It's like it may seem to you like it was really weird being able to see it that vividly and everything like that. Like, you just, like I said, you allowed yourself to take a back seat and let your subconscious take over. That makes sense. Well, those are all things in the back of your mind that you don't consciously know that are there, but they kind of are. Like, I don't know. Yeah, like, yes, it's logical, but it makes sense to me. Like, none of that to me is like, oh, yeah, none of that makes sense. It does. I can't explain why you see that. It's like, yeah, well, I can provide a kind of logical correlation as to why you would see those things.
Well, yeah, because what he said earlier, like, you can't imagine anything you haven't seen. But I was listening to a neurologist saying what Devin's saying. It sounds like when you're in your REM sleep and you access all your dreams and stuff. And he's talking about people that like drink alcohol heavily or smoke weed heavily. They don't get to that sleep. Well, your brain stacks up that amount of times you were supposed to dream, and whenever you are, ease off of those drugs or whatever, it like you get extremely vivid dreams of these crazy things. So those memories don't get deleted. So it sounds like Devin's doing, you're like, can logic explain dream? Well, maybe it can, because the things you're seeing, it sounds like you're accessing a dream state, but your body's not completely asleep because you're accessing memories. Like Clayton was saying, you've experienced taking those pictures, like that's probably a real memory. But then the thing like you and the news weatherman, that's just a mixture of things like a dream. But somewhere those memories exist in your brain, or those images from dreams exist. And when you were awake, instead of having to be into like a deep, deep sleep, you were able to access this part of your brain. Because like, whatever, we only use a certain percentage. All that information is stored in there still. So, and it sounds like you were getting close to like, you were like tapping on different nodes, like what's in here, like actually looking in through your mind, which sounds amazing to me.
The metaphor I used to explain it at one point in the video is it's like Robot Chicken. You're strapped in and you're seeing scene after scene after scene after scene, and you can't think about the scene, because if you start thinking about the thought, you're going to alter it to be more favorable. So when the thought comes up, you have to let it play like a Robot Chicken skit and then let it go away, go back to the breath, because otherwise then you're in it. So you have to just let it come up and deal with it.
That'd be hard for me to let go like that.
So weird thing that you put in on Quentin is like, I do find it weird that like our body doesn't ever completely turn off. Like, to think about it, when we go to sleep, we pretty much put ourselves into a coma every time. Put ourselves into a coma that we can bring ourselves out of. I find that really weird. But a common misconception is that we don't use a full percentage of our brain. That's factually been proven wrong. So, like, we do use all parts of our brain, is that we don't use them all at the same time. So, like, that's why like they can map out the brain and be like, yes, this is what controls this.
We can't just fire them all at the same time or whatever.
Yeah, it's just not possible. Our body can't do it. I
don't mean to get too off topic here, but what's the argument then about the dolphins being able to use some percentage? That's why they can do sonar between each other or some crap.
Well, that also comes down to like your body, right? Like, think about the fact that like we communicate this way as well, right? Like we communicate verbally because that's works with us. Like, when it comes to like, if you follow the path of evolution and everything like that, makes sense. They're pack animals. That's how they could, like, you can't talk underwater. It doesn't travel. So eventually, like, if you believe in evolution, eventually they have to develop a way to communicate with each other. So it's like, it makes sense. I would almost argue that it's just like, same thing with like vocal cords, how all of our vocal cords are different, and how some people can hit extremely high notes and other people just, like, it is not possible because of their vocal cord design. I would almost think that it's something like that, where their body has developed in a way that it's possible. And I'm sure, like, I think scientists have looked at like whale noises, orca pods, and like dolphin pods. And what's weird is I think it's orca pods actually have accents. Like, they speak, like their pod speaks to each other differently. and communicate.
That's kind of cool.
Yes, like they have different languages, even though they're all speaking the same. You know what I mean?
That makes sense, dude. I mean, that different parts of the ocean, bro.
Yeah, it's weird to think that that's developed in animals too, is that there can be different languages.
Yeah, that is trippy.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get off topic there, but I'd heard that the argument about the dolphin thing, so I didn't know if that was, but yeah, that's cool.
I think of all things I do, I usually am kind of like, it's up to you, like fasting. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things, but like this was the first thing that I'm like, do it. You should meditate.
Don't think about it. Yeah.
It takes like if you're gonna go do it, is like, you know, learn how to focus on the breath, because like when a scene would come up and play, if I started thinking about it, I would just focus on the air coming out of my nostrils and it would go black again, and then something else would come up. There was a lot of weird stuff, man. That's a lot of weird stuff, and like it was almost an hour. It was like 50 minutes. It felt like it went by in less than 20.
It's like you were achieving a state that people try to achieve through drugs. You know, like people want to see those things in their mind and they want to have some awakening, but you were like just relaxing yourself to a state to do it without any of that. I mean, maybe something with the tea maybe helped, probably not. Maybe just relaxed you, but that's
it was
to someone like me who like, I think stuff like that is cool. Like that's why I did shrooms. Like I want to see like something like that. You were able to achieve it in a completely unaltered state. That's cool. Like I definitely want to try that.
You should. No, I mean, and that's the thing. Like the main thing, like is just to meditate, because I've never done it. I've always been like, oh, that's something I need to do. I should probably do that. But I was like, the only thing I knew about it going in was like focus on the breath. And then one thing I heard Duncan Trussell say once was like, it's practice for dying. And I was like, this is right up my alley, because I've been obsessed with death for the past year. I'm like, practice this is right up my when. Mm-hmm.
Was that? Wait, what did you mean? Practice?
I don't know what he meant. I'm just saying he had a conversation with his mom one day, and he was like, "Oh, I've heard meditation is practice for death," and his mom was like, "I would agree with that." They didn't like go down that rabbit hole. They were talking about. It's a pretty sad clip, honestly. It's from the finale of his show, like, and it was a real recorded conversation between the two of them, because she had come to accept her death. Mm-hmm. And like he couldn't, because, you know, he's still her son. So it was weird, like listening to like, you know, like this guy that I'm like, I think is super, you know, I think he's intellectual and I think he's a deep thinker. I don't know how old he is, 30s, 40s, whatever. Just get reduced to like a 6-year-old again. Mm-hmm. When he was like, I don't know. It was just weird. I don't like stuff like that. Like he was a child again for a second. I was like, whoa, that was crazy. You know, in conversation. But yeah, man, I mean, right. Yeah. Still a human being. But yeah, no, I think that's one thing I think everybody should do at least once, is some type of long meditation, if it's guided meditation or not, just to like trip yourself out. Cause like some things might come up that you don't want to come up, but the way they happen was, yes. And I wanted to like get it out quick, like write it down and then film it, because like, the more you think about it, the more it alters. I'm like, I need to get this out so I can think about it more later, because it was so fun. You know, like the 100th time you remember it is actually the 99th time you remembered it. That whole thing. I was like, I don't want to alter this. This is so good.
I don't know. My thing is like, I don't think I could ever do a meditation or anything like that. I don't have the ability to let go. Like I can't.
I'd definitely have to do guided. I wouldn't have the patience, or I'd get interrupted or something.
Even then, I can't do it. Like, I just cannot let myself take a backseat. It's like something about me. I can't.
You might have to put skin in the game. Like, I've never meditated, but like it was like she's passionate about it. She has a business around it, and I paid money to do it. You know, I mean, some skin in the game. Like, I was like, okay, like one of the hardest parts for me, I put my phone on airplane mode and took off my Apple Watch, and I just threw them on my backpack. That was hard for me because I'm so connected to like work and like just my phone in general. So I was like, no, I am paying for this. This is something she's passionate about. I'm not going to ruin that for myself or for her. You know what I mean? So I just
So
that was kind of part. So you might need a little skin in the game, and it wasn't expensive.
That's
honestly.
not the
not
disconnect
expensive.
I'm talking about. I'm talking like mentally. I can't take a backseat to my own thoughts. I can't do it. Like typically, like when it comes to that's just it. I just do not believe I have that ability, and I don't know whether it's the fact of like evolutionary. That's just how people survived. As I didn't let myself do that, I couldn't do that. Like I don't know if it's that, or if it's that now as an adult with my experiences, I need to be in control. Like I have a control issue. That's how I am. I like to control things because if I control it, I'm the one who gets to affect it. I'm the one that fucks it up. Like I don't have this outside force that causes an issue.
Isn't the greatest form of control not being in control? Because if you're trying to be in control, are you really in control, or is everything controlling you? Is it running you, or are you running it? Because I felt the greatest control in my life when I let go of control.
Let's see. I don't follow.
Because it's not running me.
I don't follow circular logics like that.
No, dude. But you have to really think about that. Like, if I'm always trying to be in control, it's like when I asked Schwinn. Remember, he said, "I was trying to be humble." If you're trying to be humble, are you actually being humble? No. You're not.
Oh, see, I don't.
You're trying to be something you're not.
I don't follow like circular logics on things like that. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like, well, if you're not in control, you're really in control. Like I don't know. It's a circular logic to me that I cannot follow. I'm like, it just seems like a way for someone to justify themselves not being able to be in control. Like I understand to a degree that I don't have a control, but I can control certain things. Like in my environment, I can control certain things. Like mentally, I can control certain things. There are always things that are always out of my hands that I can't always affect, but there's that part of me that it's like I have to somewhat control the chaos to a degree. Like I don't know how to describe it. I can't allow myself to take a back seat. Like mentally, I just cannot do it.
Okay, here's a more practical example. This is the same logic, but maybe this will help. A business owner who micromanages every aspect of the business, are they in control? No, the business is running them. They're not running the business. If they're micromanaging every aspect of it, they're not. The business is running them. When they understand delegation and they do appoint their team members and have a leadership, they are actually relinquishing control. Therefore, they are actually in absolute control, and they run the business instead of the business running them. Same thing with your life.
So, like, I get what you're saying to a degree, but that doesn't, like, what I'm saying is regardless of whether that's a thought or not, or whether I can understand that thought, what I'm saying is I cannot physically do it. Like, I cannot make myself do it. And that's where I was saying, like, I don't know if it's something because that's just in my genetics, like that's just how I am and always will be, or if it's the fact that I've had so many things in my life where I've tried to let go and those things came around and bit me. So like, I don't know if mentally I can do it. It's a weird thing, like maybe one day, but as of like right now, I can't do something like that. I can't do it. Like there's just part of me that can't allow myself to do it. It's like the idea of like, you know how some people will just torpedo good relationships just for the sense of control in it. So like subconsciously they'll torpedo a relationship for the simple fact of, well, at least I'm the one that ended it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I do that just for the fun of the experience, but I think a lot of that has to do with like that's like a self-sabotage thing. They're like, I don't deserve a happy relationship. So they're like, I'm going to bomb this thing because it's finally going right and going how it should go. But to them, their self-image is like, I'm not meant to have a good time. I'm not meant to have a healthy relationship. I'm going to bomb this. I'm going to cheat on them. I'm going to lie to them. I'm just going to start fighting. It's a self-worth thing. It's the same sense of like with money. Like if you've been in survival mode and like your bank account is typically zero, paycheck to paycheck, and then you finally start making more money, you keep spending it. You want to get it back to zero because you're like, that's what I'm worth. That's all I'll ever be. I need an empty it's a self-image thing. You know what I mean? So whatever it is, like, it comes back to that. It's like self-sabotage.
Oh, see, that's just it. I don't find it self-sabotagey. I think it's more just the fact that, like, the few times that I have let go, they've come around and bit me, and that has, I guess you would say, like, an emotional scar on me. That scar's there. I can't heal it. I can't remove it. It's there. So it's hard for me in any situation to fully let go. Like, in anything, I'm a controlling person. I'll admit that, and I'm sure y'all can understand that too. I'm pretty controlling in how I want things done.
I think here's the other thing. You have to think about it like this with the whole meditation thing or sitting with thoughts. That's one aspect that you're, at the end of the day, control of, because you can stop it when you want to stop it, and you're not gonna die. You know what I mean? It's all your stuff coming up. Like, it's no one else doing it. It's all you. So you're still in control by being not in control of just like, I can cut this off at 30 minutes. I can cut this off at 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And then that was my whole thing. I was like, I'm not going to die. Who I might be on the other side of this excites me. I just know I'm not going to die.
Well, see,
and
maybe it's that person excites you, whereas to me, I'm not ready to meet that person. I'm not sure.
So like, that's something to, right. And that's just, and here's the funny thing, as open as I am, never done psychedelics.
Mm-hmm.
That does freak me out. Those freak me out, because that to me is a roller coaster ride. You know what I mean? So like, that's not something I'm that.
See, so that's also another weird thing to me is like, as much as I am that person that doesn't like to let go, I've done shrooms.
You have.
I've done it before.
That blows my mind.
It like, dude, I really enjoyed it. Like I would do it again if it was legalized, but it's not, so I'm not going to. But like, it was not a bad time. It's not something that like, oh, this is how I spend, my weekends. Like, it wouldn't be something like that. But like, doing it every few years, it wouldn't be bad. But I don't know. It's weird for me that I can do something like that where it's like, dude, you literally don't have control. Like, you can't end this at any time you want to. Like, you were on,
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, but I can do that, but I can't do like a guided meditation or something because I just can't dip into my subconscious that way. I don't know. It's weird.
Like you have a big locked door over your subconscious.
It's weird. I don't know what it is. Maybe a bunch of repressed stuff that I don't know about, but
it's probably that you. Part of you does, like, you don't, it's like the closet that you keep jamming everything into. You just don't want to open it, and you're not going to open it until you have to move. You know what I mean?
You do know, like, you just don't want to know. Like,
exactly.
Out of sight, out of mind.
That's the stuff you got to face, man. Every time in life when I'm like, oh, there's something I don't want to look at, it's bit me so hard. So now I just face those things head on. You know what I mean? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's like a work task, what's a conversation I need to have, if it's a bill I need to, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things, man. There's this children's book. It's like the dragon in our house or something like that. And like, the kid keeps telling everyone there's a dragon in the house, and the parents are like, you're crazy. You're crazy. And he's like, it's growing. And they're like, you're crazy. That's kind of the whole theme of the book. It just keeps going. It grows and grows and grows. It's like cumbersome. It's like in the way of stuff. And the parents are just saying it's everything but a dragon. And the kid's like, no, there's a dragon. They don't believe him. And then eventually the dragon gets so big that he fills up the house, and he stands up and he starts running down the street. And the dad comes home and is like, why is our house running down the street? And the parents are still like oblivious to it. And that's the real thing in the book, is like not addressing the things you want to address, because then your house is running down the street and you wonder why, when you know why, you just never wanted to address it. Like, why is life like this? That's, dude, the dragon in the house, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just it. I don't think it's the fact that I'm oblivious to it, because like you said, I deal with stuff head on, but like, dude, I don't know what's back there. It's to the point that it's like I've forgotten. I don't remember what those things are.
Dude, JP once said, "So you don't face the dragon, you don't get the gold." I'm like, that's true. You don't face the dragon, you don't get the gold. I'm like, dude, I take those dragons head on now as best I can. Because you don't want to get to the dragon when it's turned into like a Hydra or like a Ghidorah, like a 3-headed one. You know, like I want to face it as a baby. You know what I mean? Or maybe like a level 5. But like, I want to stab it early, you know, and then, because it went into like a Ghidorah, it's like, this thing has telepathic minds and they can regenerate, and only Godzilla can kill it. And I'm not Godzilla.
It's just too big now.
Right. And then ran away with the house again.
Too big to fail.
Too big to fail. It's getting a bailout. This dragon. This is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
What you got on your list, Schwinn?
Yeah.
Oh, the only thing I had on my list was the declassified UFOs that are supposed to come out like the next week.
Bro,
and the catch up, yeah.
Here's my thing with
the catch up thing.
Okay, I was gonna go down the declassified thing, like nipping that button real quick, dude. We're gonna declassify stuff about UFOs. Yeah, you know the fun thing about that is it's a technical thing. Well, we weren't calling them UFOs. We were calling them something different. So, cool. You can have all the ones that say UFO on them. You're going to only get the ones you already have. So, it's like, cool. We weren't calling them that.
It's the government. They're going to be like, yeah, here it's all declassified. And it's going to be a paper. It's like, hey, there was nothing there. Get back to work. Hey, also, your dollar's worth 30% less. Have fun.
But so in that video, it was showing like little clips, and they were speaking to him, and he was like, "No, this is unexplainable."
Is
So
it the ones we've seen?
What I'm saying though is not that they're not going to release nothing. It's going to be stuff that's like, it doesn't really change anything, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like, let's be honest. If I have something like, let's say aliens are real, we've made contact, and it's like, we're not ready to give that to the people. We'll give them the same thing they've always had because they're not ready for it, and we'll just change what we're calling it. And that way, whenever you go into that search product, like I know most of them are actual physical files, but for instance, like if it's a website or something, well, okay, here, I searched this. All right, cool. Here's what you popped up. That none of the important term, like it's not a key term in the important stuff.
So it'll still be released, so they're just changing the terms?
No, what I'm saying is like they're going to only release what they had when they called it that. By the time anything of substance was actually found, they changed what it was called, if that makes sense.
I got you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 years ago, they were UFAs, and that was already old. Mm-hmm. That was already old and able to the public. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, sure. It's like, yeah, you can have it. Yeah, you can have our Play-Doh version of the real thing, you know? And I like what Clayton said. Like, if it was aliens or not, the public's not ready. Yeah, dude.
Definitely
we can't handle masks and Bad Baby. You think we're ready for alien contact?
No.
What?
Definitely not. It's going to be terrible. That would be
what would we gain? I want to know what we would gain. I want to know,
Nothing.
But I also I'm like, what?
I don't know. Maybe people would start acting different.
I'm leaving to go live in their culture.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it would just kick up the whole, like, that the governments are aliens. That would just kick up that whole thing. It's like, well, why would they hide it? Like, how do we know these people aren't aliens? You know what I mean? Well, that would kick up that conspiracy.
The other thing is
too. Whole revelation.
Let's say they're completely.
Like, why would they run us?
Let's say they're completely like helpful. All they've ever done is out of goodwill helped us out, helped us get through crises. Like, oh, y'all are dealing with COVID. Like, here's the vaccine. Make sure y'all give it a while so y'all's people don't know that it was us. And like, let's say it comes around to the point that it's like, okay, well, like now we've revealed that they're there. Everyone's like, okay, so they have to be running things. There's no way they're just doing this out of goodwill. Like, you know what I mean? There's always, when it comes to like people who believe in conspiracy things and stuff like that, there's always a more sinister plot. Like, you figured this out, did you? Okay, like why can't it ever be just the surface level thing. Like, same thing with
human nature.
That's just, to me, it's a misperception of what he, like most people say, sometimes the most obvious answer is the answer. Like, have you had the things that, like, you just overcomplicate? Like, just any simple task, you've just overcomplicated it. To me, right. I think a lot of these things when it comes to conspiracy theories is like, this is just how their brain works. This is how they cope with the world. There's always a sinister plot. It can never be something just surface level. It can't just ever be what it is.
Because it's a repeated pattern of sinister plots. It's a repeated pattern of hidden information. So their guard is up of like, everything is sinister, which I don't think everything. I don't think everything, but I do have a healthy level of like questioning and conspiracy theory stuff, because it's like, if there's a complete, it's like, okay, your girl's been cheating on you for 10 years. I've been together for 15. She's probably still doing it. It's like she stopped 5 years ago. Let's be real here. It's like, it's a pattern of sinister plots, but like I was saying, it's human nature. So that begs the question, if aliens are doing it, if aliens are good-willed, do aliens have a human nature that is comparable to is it comparable to human nature, or their alien nature is consciousness and have a nature of its own? They're aliens. Do they have animal-based hierarchy instincts? Probably, if they evolved. But honestly, if we have contact with them, like, why would they not just enslave the planet? Why would they run through politics? Personally, that's the way. Like, why would they not just enslave the planet?
Oh, well, like my thing is,
we're lower level to them by far.
When it comes to like sinister plots and stuff like that, it's like, dude, it's just like, not everyone is out to get you. Like, I don't know. I just don't buy stuff like that. And then same thing. It's like trying to understand someone who thinks differently. Like, as far as we go, we're all straight here, correct? Like, we all identify as straight, right?
I don't know if we want to get into that, because, I have some demons I don't want to address right here on camera.
Well, let's say, for instance, like, my argument is like, I'll never understand what it is to be attracted to the same sex, because I'm just not wired that way. Now, I can make a comparison of like, well, it must be similar to this, because this is what I know, so I guess it's like that. You'll never actually truly understand it. And I think same thing with like a consciousness of an alien. Like, you're never going to understand it, because like you cannot be it. Like, it's my same thing with like when it comes to a higher power, like this omnipotent being that knows all, sees all, and just everything. I can barely fathom half the things I see and do it correctly. It is impossible for me to understand what that thing wants from me. It does not make sense that I would be able to comprehend it.
Well, but we're talking about like a hypothetical life form. In the event they could contact us and could communicate, we could do an interview with them. Maybe not us three. I don't know if they'd come on our podcast, but like, we would have these questions, you know what I mean? Like, in understanding their society and understanding their culture, and then get a kind of an idea of like, okay, they're pretty similar. Yeah, there's people at the top that push down the people at the bottom. Well, all right. See, they're not out to get the individual. But they are out for themselves, which will hurt the individual along the way.
Once again, the argument is the consciousness could not be that at all. You can only understand your own consciousness. So, like, you're like, oh, well, yeah, they're going to be the same in the fact that they push down. Well, what if they're not? What if they're not at all? You can't comprehend that because you're not that.
No. I said we would interview them and understand their culture if it was that case, and we could understand it based off talking to them. Okay, they are the same. Or alternatively, like, no, our culture is completely different. Our structure is completely different. I'm not saying I have to think like them, but I can. Dude, it's just like talking to the girl who did my guided meditation. She showed me this whole other world of like crystals and chakras and guided meditation. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, or if I talk to, I don't know, somebody who's super into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's not even a debate of consciousness. That's just like, that's really cool, man, that you understand the stuff that I don't. That's all that is.
Like,
but I can still get it.
Here's my thing, though. Like, I think of it the same way as, like, there are colors that we cannot see, can't comprehend, can't even imagine. Like, there are colors that do that. I think of it in that same light. I can never understand it because it is so different. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but you could
say that, but the ability to be able to comprehend something is to be able to make it correlate to something else. If everything in our nature isn't that way, and this thing is a crazy anomaly that their society makes no sense at all to us, because every time you ask the question of why, well, they'll give you an explanation. You're like, yeah, I don't understand that. Okay, well, let me explain that. All right, boom. Well, I don't understand that. That's how I look at it, is it could be a situation simply like that. It is not, you can't comprehend it.
Unfathomable. But we could still compare. Yeah. No, but we could still compare it. We could be like, okay, so theirs works as if our president did this instead of this. If our school teachers did this instead of this. It's the same as if, like, we go to Spain and observe their culture, or like go to Mexico, you know what I mean? Or the Aborigines in us, you know, like, it's
I think you're missing the point of what I'm saying. I'm saying, because you're saying like, oh, well, their president is like this, or this is like this. You're using things that you know about. What I'm saying is it could be something that you do not understand at all. And you can't correlate it because it's so abnormal.
But what you said was like, to understand something is to compare it to something else. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm saying. If they don't have a quote unquote president, they don't have a quote unquote teacher, they'd be like, this is our blah blah blah, our this is our glip glop, this is our floppity sloop. We're like, okay, their glip glop is like missing. If they had
You're
this.
Still missing what I'm saying.
What are you saying, though?
I'm pretty sure Quentin understands what I'm saying.
Like,
is it could operate so different that the constraints of what we do as humans, because of how we are, it could be so different that it is not comparable.
Yeah.
Like, you're working down this rabbit hole of like, well, they have this. Well, yes, you keep putting a leader. We can understand a leader. What I'm saying is it could be so different from what we understand because we've never done anything remotely close to that.
They could be a hive mind.
So, like, what I'm saying is like the same thing with like the colors that exist, but you cannot comprehend, cannot see, cannot picture. Because you just can't.
Basically, if they were like, we teach this in our schools, and it's like something we didn't even know existed.
You can't say school. You can't say school because we have schools.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
Basically, the point he's trying to make, yeah.
But that's, okay, but what I'm saying is, like, I get that we could never function like them or fathom how our society would work that way or how our culture worked that way. But I'm saying, like, there would be something to illustrate the point. It's the whole explain it like I'm five thing. There would be something that we could be like, if our society was ran like this imaginary scenario, it's like, we could never do that. I know. But that's how it's the whole explain it like I'm five thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't understand how the Aborigines work in the technical sense, or like, oh, they're unevolved. We could never do that. You know what I mean? It's like, that's how I picture it. Like, yes, it's so vastly different, but we can still explain it in a way that's like, here's why it's so different. Like, here's this other thing.
They lay eggs.
Well, we have things that lay eggs. Yeah.
Well, I feel like at this point it's agree to disagree. Like, we're talking in circles.
You both have a good point. Clayton has a point of they have things that are unimaginable, so our brain can't compare them. But then Devin's point is like, you can observe any other culture and get a general idea, even if at a simplistic level.
So like, his argument,
you can do both.
His argument is, well, we can always compare it to something, and I'm saying no. I'm imagining it as a level that we can't compare it to, like we just. 100%.
But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, okay, let's say you Clayton.
So here's my thing. You're not going to sway me on this. This is where the disagreement lies. Determined. And this is the agree to disagree. It doesn't matter how many times we keep explaining it. It's going down the same thing.
We could relate it to Star Wars, Star Trek, all that, man.
Hold on. No. Star Wars that is completely comparable to anyway. That's a whole other thing. What I'm saying is, like, I don't picture. Let's say there was an alien life form that could talk English, and we sat with them for 10 days, and they broke down their culture history. Imagine going to that person and being like, so what did they tell you? How does it work? And they're just like, it's unfathomable. I'm like, you could tell me something. And they're like, that. I'm like, I don't picture that scenario at all. I don't picture that scenario at all is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't understand how we could not talk to.
That's where that's where our disagreement lies. It's like, it's the same thing of like an ant trying to understand our culture. It just can't.
Yeah, it could, because they have a queen and they have workers and they have.
No, so what I'm saying
is they can't speak English.
Their brain physically can't do it. It could be a limitation of just us.
Like, we just can't understand what they do.
Because it's like the same thing. Like I don't know how to describe it, and that's what I'm saying is we're talking in circles on it, and I don't want to keep talking about it because we're just going in circles. Because Devin won't move off his point, and I'm not going to move off mine. So it's just going in circles.
I can see both sides.
It's been the same thing. My God. But what about the ketchup on fries things? Did y'all want to talk about?
Oh, there's a ketchup shortage. National.
The national ketchup shortage. I just hope that in some way, you know, this is like linked to like Vlog Squad or like Mr. Beast. You know, like he's like gone off the rails. Like Mr. Beast has like gone off the rails and like lost touch with his own content. And he's like, hey, we made a fake restaurant out of cardboard and gasoline. We're gonna give everyone who enters a lifetime supply of ketchup. Like he's lost he's just gone off the rails. Like the money's not a thing anymore. Like we're gonna have a lifetime supply of ketchup, and like that's why there's a national shortage. And these people are like, oh, I wanted money. Like that's what I picture of like there's some YouTuber this is linked to.
The Vlog Squad, dude.
Probably not them. They're dropping like flies. But I just picture a rogue not a rogue Mr. Beast. Rogue would be evil. Like just an off the rails, like he doesn't know what hits anymore.
Dude, I watched some of his like older videos. He really came like his older videos like we're gonna put a microwave inside of a microwave inside of a microwave. And it just like that was his videos. You know, and now he's just like billions of views. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean
now it's like
he had a base formula and ran with it. What if we just did this? Like, I feel like that's just the concept of every video he's ever done. Is like, well, what if we just did it? Like, what would we get out of it? Like the microwave thing. Yeah. Like at the base level, it's like, what happens when we put like 6 microwaves inside of each other and turn them all on? Like same concept of like, okay, well, how would someone react if we just gave them $1 million? You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, I like that he did that even before he had money. Like he's like in his little duplex, and he's like, "Here's $200 to like the pizza guy," and like one of them started crying. They're like, "Oh, I can make my rent this month," and he's just like, "Okay, well, have a good night." You know, he's just like this nerdy dude. You know, like just tipping people this money, and that became his thing. Like no one else has that thing.
Like for me, it's just like I love the fact that it's a simple, like you can boil it down to a simple concept of like, well, what if we did this? What would happen? Like at the most basic concept, that's what it is.
His most recent one, he's like, what if we bought it was like mystery crates. And he bought all the way up to like 250,000 mystery crates. Like it was pretty cool.
Yeah, like
I think like his thing is that his twist is always charitable. You always feel good watching his videos. Like he did like when he covered the houses in roses for like his girlfriend or whatever. It was truckloads. He went and there was some way to donate the flowers. He went and did that. Like there's always some charitable twist.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but like this, like Quentin was saying, the 6 microwave things, no charity thing. So like what blows
that was just entertainment.
What blows my mind about it though is you can see the simple concept through all of it, and think about the fact like on YouTube he was one of those people that had that simple concept and ran with that simple concept and kept it kind of to that base level and found the path within that basic concept. Because like he
does the same thing with just more money now. Like when he's shooting a sniper through all the phone books, and now he's like, I bought 1 million Christmas lights and I bought 3 houses on this lot. Let's see who can do the coolest one. You know.
Well, it's like if you take this sniper bullet to the chest, I'll give you $10 million. You know what I mean? Or it's like, but it's even lazier. You know what I mean? Like, well, like I don't know. He'd like pick the 2 suitcases. Like one has $1, one has $1 million. They pick the dollar one. He's like, you get both anyway. You know what I mean? And just like, but like it's fun to watch. You know, I agree. But it is like Clayton's saying, like he found the one thing that was like, the charity's the hit. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tip you the house.
What I'm saying is like, yes, to a degree that, but like he took a simple concept and he found the path within that simple concept.
Yeah.
Like it is at that base root, like what happens if we do this? What's the reaction to it? And he's found a route within success of it of such a simple concept. And I think about like, dude, all YouTubers who do stuff. Like they had like when you boil it down, it's just a simple concept. And for some reason, they found the exact path through that. Out of like the millions of branches that could have happened within that path, they found that one successful branch. Like, I don't know. I find that like incredible and insane to see.
Well, I think like it's important to remember, like you can't be everything, dude. Like I watched a video today, got recommended to me. It was like, could Fire Godzilla take on Mechagodzilla by himself? I click it. His whole channel is just monster fights, debating and I'm like, dude, like that's just a reminder. Like you can't be everything. Like pick something or a few. You know what I mean? Because there's like a few things. I didn't look through his whole channel, but I bet it's reviewing monster fights, debating monster fights, upcoming news in like the Titan sphere, Kaiju sphere. You know what I mean? His thought, that. He doesn't have to be anything else. You know what I mean? Imagine like he doesn't need to go do a self-improvement video and then a Bitcoin video and then a, confronting Mr. Beast video. Like he doesn't like, he's like, nah, I do monster fear stuff. You know what I mean? And that's why you would click that channel. You're like, I subscribed. I expect monster news. You know what I mean? Like that's a reminder of like, you don't have to be everything because you'll never be. You'll just suck at everything if you try to do that, and no one will pick it up.
Well, so here's a weird thing about that on Twitch though, is there are streamers that hate that they're stuck playing one game because that's the only game their viewers will watch. So there's
the same thing with actors. Like actors get stuck in those.
Yeah, you could get pigeonholed. So it's like also the same thing of like I bet you watch like that kaiju guy. Like, let's say he's been doing it for like 6 years. I wonder if he's still doing it for the love of the game, or that's because what people watch and that was like now he's stuck and ran by that.
No, I completely agree, dude. Like that's the scary part about getting big on things like that, because it's like
people want more of the same.
Like put more of the same. And like 100% agree. Like getting stuck playing the same game would suck because games are fads. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can game, but each game is a fad in itself. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I mean, he probably enjoys it to a degree, but it's probably like, man, like some days I wish I didn't have to make monster videos to pay the rent.
Dude, like, my thing is too with like the monster videos is like, bro, how do you progress? Like, you know what I mean? Like, could this thing take this? Like, it's just like, okay, like I understand.
There's a community
like,
for everything.
How do you? Like, how is it that you're just like, what makes you pick a concept? Because, like, you got to think there has to be some skill to it of, like, it can't be an obvious blowout. but I have to articulate why one would beat the other without it being obvious to everyone.
Yeah. Well, and that's what he did. He, but that's the thing. I know, I agree. You wonder how far can it go, but the people that do it just keep making it work. Well, because there's a pattern. I'll tell you. So there is a pattern I saw from one YouTuber that was really smart, but also there's I don't remember when the last Star Wars movie came out, but people are still talking about Star Wars. They will go a whole year without a movie. People will weekly and daily uploads about Star Wars. And you're like, what is there to talk about? They'll figure it out.
Well, see,
they'll figure it out.
I guess it's more just the fact that I guess to us it's like a surface level thing, but if you delve deeper into it, there's more. So same thing with Star Wars. Dude, there's whole books about the universe before, after, everything in between. It's the same thing with Lord of the Rings. They have the 3 main books for Lord of the Rings. Then they have the Hobbit trilogy. Well, on top of that, you can what was it? It was Tolkien who wrote it. He has a whole book that explains the cultures. And because there'll be one thing of we don't drink wine in the North, and he'll be able to explain and has created a fake history about why they don't drink wine there, because they got their wine from this one particular place. This treaty broke up. It is a man who delves into his own mind and just went crazy with it. Went crazy in building his own world.
Right, and then there's a niche for that. There's probably people that do Lord of the Rings YouTube videos, and every now and then they're top 5 myths about orcs, top 5 myths about elves. There's just an endless... Dude, Alpha M, dude. Alpha M. You might have seen one of his videos, man. He teaches you how to dress, how to do your hair, all this stuff. Dude, I'm I think he has some good videos, but sometimes I'm dude, are you not going to run out of stuff to talk about? There's a pretty basic on how to dress. You can figure that out pretty quick. Pretty basic on everything. Go ahead.
Sorry, my bad. Have you ever heard of Lemino? Dude, y'all should look him up. It's Lemmino. But he started out with doing top 10 videos, top 10 video games, top 10 facts about whatever, top 10. And now it's just developed into he'll release a video once every few months, but it's usually 18 to maybe 30 minutes. And it's production value is insane. It's very professional, and you'll sit there and watch the whole thing. I don't even know what you consider it anymore. He talks
video essays.
Basically, okay, I get it, with very good graphic design and stuff that he has playing in the background, but he created his own path. Or Ross Creations, he'll never run out because his platform is I'm just vlogging my life, dude. I guess pranks,
he's doing pranks, but
a lot of it is just chilling.
Yeah, but the shtick is pranks. And so the Alpha M guy, he's is how to dress, how to be a man, you're okay, I feel that's wrapped up in 20 videos. But there's still it's here's 5 more things you shouldn't wear. Here's 5 things to not do this. Here's 5 reasons you're a beta. Here's 3 reasons you're an alpha.
So I think it more comes down to if you're going to do a concept like that, the idea is to keep it broad enough. You know what I mean? Because, let's say he goes just fashion. Fashion's extremely broad. There's a lot of things to cover in that. I think if he made it very niche to, we are a channel about pants. All right, dude, I've watched 2 videos that's about all the content you can squeeze out of pants. But if you pick something as broad as fashion, it's it's so broad, there's so many things to cover.
50-50, because now you got me thinking. He's top 5 pants, and then he's common pants myths, and then he reviews pants, and then his viewers start sending him pants to review, and he's do these look good on me? And he's no, here's why they don't look good on you. It's crazy. Anything can be something. There's so I told you last time about the Subway guy. Apparently that's a whole genre. I thought it was just the Subway kid filming videos of him making sandwiches. It's a whole genre. There's a guy who does it at Cold Stone. He films himself making the Cold Stone and answers viewer questions. And then they collabed, and the Subway guy worked at the Cold Stone for a week. I'm like, what? I think it's awesome. It's entertaining, but it is crazy. It's like all he talks about is Subway, and he's almost at 1 million subscribers, and he's making money, a lot of money. And I'm just like, what? Like anything is something.
That's insane.
Dude, and there's also, like you said, like the long videos you said, that's a genre too of video essays. One of the first ones I saw that got me hooked was The Day the Simpsons Died. That's a super popular one. I don't know who it's by, but I remember I clicked it because one, I'm interested in The Simpsons, but it's like 27 minutes, I think, but it's a video essay. He's like, there's no cuts. You can tell he's reading it off. But the screen's like good. Like he probably hired some work. He did it himself. Yeah. It took a while. Yeah. You know, it's like you have to figure out. You go high end, go all the way high end. Mm-hmm. If you go low end, go all the way low end, but make what you're saying fire or entertaining. Because there's videos I watch of people like they're just in front of their computer talking, but what they're talking about, like I think is fire. I think it's interesting and it's super value packed. So it's like, I'm like, dude, that is awesome. And then there's the people that are super over the top. What?
It's funny you say that because I saw like the first few minutes of Alex Becker's video from like today or like yesterday. And he's like, I just moved, recording this. It's real shitty quality. But you know, I'm Alex Becker. You're going to watch anyways. I could be taking a crap. It doesn't matter. He's like, let's get into this.
He's not wrong.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm still watching.
Yeah. I got a couch. Take your pants off.
Well, you got anything else?
Dude, yeah, he's like, I'm a faker. I'm not real.
Yeah. Well, y'all got anything else y'all actually want to cover?
No. I think we covered a lot today, man. So yeah.
All right.
Where can everybody find us?
Nobody Named Kevin podcast on Instagram, Nobody Named Kevin podcast on Twitter, and Nobody Named Kevin podcast on TikTok and YouTube, obviously.
Well, this has been Nobody Named Kevin.
We're working on Spotify, LinkedIn, MySpace, Zynga, Angel Fire, and also working on our OnlyFans. Just be on the lookout for all 6 of those.
That's where the hidden episode's going to air, just so you know.
OpenSea. Yeah, the NFT.
All right. Well, this has been Nobody Named Kevin. Thank you for listening.